Most people believe that the biggest financial problem in their life is their salary. They think the reason money always runs out is because they simply don't earn enough. And on the surface, that idea sounds logical. After all, if you had a higher income, life would probably feel easier. But here is something interesting. There are millions of people around the world who earn a perfectly normal salary and still manage to build savings, reduce stress, and live comfortably. At the same time, there are also many people who earn significantly more money and yet constantly feel broke. They work hard, they receive their paycheck, and for a few days everything feels fine. But very quickly, the money begins to disappear. Bills get paid, groceries are bought, subscriptions renew automatically, and small unexpected expenses begin to appear. And suddenly, the month is only halfway finished, but the bank account already looks empty. This happens to a huge number of families, and the reason is usually not laziness or lack of effort. The real reason is much simpler. Most people were never taught how money actually behaves. When people first receive their income, they often feel a sense of relief. It feels like progress. But income alone does not guarantee financial stability. In fact, the moment money arrives, it immediately begins flowing in different directions. Rent or mortgage payments claim a large portion of it. Groceries, transportation, utilities, and daily living costs take another portion. And then there are lifestyle expenses. Entertainment, shopping, subscriptions, and convenience purchases slowly take the rest. Each individual expense may not look very large, but together they create a powerful current pulling money away from your account. One of the biggest misunderstandings about money is that people assume financial problems are caused by large purchases. But in reality, money rarely disappears in one dramatic moment. Instead, it leaks away slowly. Think about it like a bucket filled with water. If that bucket has small holes, the water doesn't disappear instantly. It drains gradually, a few drops at a time. Your finances work in exactly the same way. Small daily purchases, repeated over and over again, slowly drain your income. A coffee here, a food delivery there, a subscription you forgot about, a random online purchase that felt harmless at the time. Each expense looks tiny on its own, but together they create a constant outflow of money. And this is where awareness becomes extremely powerful. When people begin to look closely at where their money actually goes, they often discover patterns they never noticed before. Many people are surprised to realize how much they spend on things they barely remember buying. Tracking your spending is not about guilt or punishment, it is simply about clarity. When you understand your financial patterns, you can begin making small adjustments that produce large results over time. This is where budgeting becomes useful. The word budget often makes people uncomfortable because it sounds restrictive, but in reality, a budget is simply a plan. It is a way of telling your money where it should go instead of wondering where it went. One of the simplest budgeting structures used by millions of people is known as the 50-30-20 rule. According to this idea, roughly 50% of your income goes toward essential needs. These are the costs you cannot easily avoid, such as housing, food, transportation, and utilities. 30% can be used for lifestyle spending, including entertainment, hobbies, and optional purchases that make life enjoyable. The remaining 20% is directed towards savings and long-term goals. The exact percentages may change depending on your situation, but the principle behind this system is extremely important. Your money needs structure. Without structure, spending expands naturally until it fills your entire income. This is why people who receive salary increases often feel no financial improvement at all. When income grows, spending tends to grow alongside it. A nicer apartment becomes affordable, a more expensive car suddenly feels reasonable. Convenience becomes more attractive, and lifestyle upgrades slowly appear everywhere. This phenomenon is known as lifestyle inflation, and it quietly prevents many people from building real financial security. Another powerful financial habit involves changing the order in which money is used.
Most people save money only after they finish spending. They pay bills, they buy what they need, they enjoy a few things, and then they attempt to save whatever remains. Unfortunately, for many people, nothing remains at all. A more effective strategy reverses this process. Instead of saving what is left after spending, you spend what is left after saving. This idea is known as paying yourself first. The moment you receive income, a portion of it is automatically moved into savings. It happens immediately before other spending decisions take place. Because the money is saved first, the remaining income naturally becomes the spending limit for the month. Over time, this small habit can completely transform financial stability. Even modest savings begin to accumulate. At first, the progress may feel slow, but consistency produces powerful results. Those savings gradually become a financial cushion, and that cushion changes how people experience money. Without savings, every unexpected expense feels like a crisis. A broken appliance, a medical bill, or a temporary loss of income can quickly create panic. But with savings in place, these situations become manageable problems instead of financial disasters. This is why many financial experts recommend building something called an emergency fund. An emergency fund is simply money set aside specifically for unexpected situations. It is not meant for vacations or shopping. It exists purely as protection. The common recommendation is to build enough savings to cover 3 to 6 months of essential living expenses. That may sound like a large goal at first, but it does not need to happen overnight. Small, consistent contributions slowly grow into meaningful protection. Beyond basic savings, time becomes one of the most powerful tools in personal finance. Many people underestimate how strongly time affects money. When savings are invested wisely, they begin to grow through a process called compound growth. Compound growth means that money begins earning returns, and those returns begin earning additional returns. Over many years, this process accelerates dramatically. What begins as small regular contributions can eventually grow into significant financial resources. But the key ingredient behind this growth is patience. The earlier someone begins saving and investing, the more powerful time becomes. Waiting too long removes one of the greatest advantages in personal finance. This is why consistent habits matter more than dramatic actions. Financial stability is not built through a single perfect decision. It is built through hundreds of small decisions repeated over many years. At the same time, living well on an average salary does not require eliminating every enjoyable part of life. The goal of personal finance is not extreme restriction. It is intentional spending. This means choosing purchases that genuinely improve your life while avoiding those that provide only temporary satisfaction. A simple question can often help guide these decisions. Will this still matter to me in a month? If the answer is no, the purchase may not be worth the cost. When spending becomes intentional and savings become consistent, something remarkable begins to happen. Financial stress slowly decreases. Instead of constantly worrying about the next bill or the next paycheck, people begin to experience a sense of control. Money stops feeling like an unpredictable force and starts behaving like a manageable tool. And that is ultimately the real goal of personal finance. It is not about chasing wealth endlessly or comparing lifestyles with other people. It is about building stability. Stability creates freedom. Freedom to make decisions calmly. Freedom to handle unexpected events without panic. Freedom to focus on family, work, and long-term goals without constant financial pressure. Financial progress rarely happens instantly, but small improvements accumulate. Tracking expenses, reducing unnecessary spending, saving consistently, and making thoughtful decisions about purchases gradually reshape a person's financial life. Over time, these habits produce something extremely valuable: peace of mind. Because in the end, money is not just about numbers in a bank account. It is about the quality of life those numbers support. And when people learn how to manage money wisely, even an average salary can become the foundation for a stable, confident, and comfortable life.